Hello everyone, welcome back to Book Club Preview. I'm Michael, and today we're looking at The Hobbit, Chapter 4, seeing Gandalf and the dwarves and poor old Bilbo getting into a little bit of trouble. It starts off with the troop, the party, the fellowship it could be called, leaving the elves, Rivendell, and man, this just sounds amazing to me. I can't even imagine what these mountains would look like because they're hiking up and up and up and up and up and up and down and up and up all through these mountains. It takes them days and days and days to be climbing up and around these mountains. And there's some sharp edges going down. There's some sharp edges going up. So maybe it's actually kind of like this, and there's a little trail off to the side. It's actually a picture in some of the books. You can kind of see the image of what it might be looking like. But they're going through the mountains, and it's just taking days and days and days. Not too exciting, not too pleasant, but eventually there comes a thunderstorm. And it says it's even more than a thunderstorm, because here's a thunderstorm and here's a thunderstorm, and they blow together and create almost like a thunder battle. And they've climbed up high on this mountain, so they're kind of at the top. So they're in the thunderstorm. And there's this little rock, and they're hiding underneath it or kind of by it to try and protect them from the rain, but the wind is blowing so bad that the rain is blowing everywhere. Lightning's blasting everywhere. There's some giants living in these mountains, and they're picking up these rocks and they're throwing them across the mountainside and down into the valleys. And I mean, this is not a safe place to be. They're all freaking out underneath this rock ledge until finally they decide, okay, we're gonna send the dwarves out. We're gonna make them go see if they can find the cave, or a cave, some kind of shelter. And so the dwarves go out. I think it's Philly and Killy, and they are they're gone for a little while, and then they come back. So we found a cave. The cave is over this way. It's not that far. Come on. So in the rain, in the thunder, they grab all their stuff and they go and they find this cave. And they're a little suspicious, Gandalf and Thorin, because they came back too quickly and they said, "Hey, did you really search this cave?" Yeah, we looked at it. It's safe. It's not that big. Are you sure? Yeah, it's so close. Come on. All right, because there's a lot of dangerous things living in these mountains, and especially in caves. So they go in. Wow, this actually looks pretty sweet. Gandalf turns a light on with his wand, and he's inspecting everything. Okay, yeah, this looks pretty safe. Everyone starts kind of relaxing. They get the pony settled. They start smoking their pipes and blowing rings. Slowly, people start to fall asleep. Now, as they're falling asleep, Bilbo is having these terrible, terrible dreams. And he's like imagining the wall of the cave opening up. And he's imagining these terrible goblins taking these ponies quietly out of their cave and down into a deeper cave. Until finally, as they're all like gathering around everyone, Bilbo kind of wakes up and he realizes it's real. It's not a dream. And he's like, "Ah!" And they capture him. But that one is enough for Gandalf to wake up and, not quite yet, to wake up and disappear and burst into lightning. Zap, 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 zap. And a few of the goblins end up dying around him. The other goblins take the dwarves. There's like one dwarf and 6 goblins around that guy. And they capture them all. They put him in chains and they take him down, down, down into the hole. Where is... I can't find my copy of The Hobbit, but there's a poem that the orcs, or the song that the orcs, in The Hobbit, they're called goblins. In the Lord of the Rings, they're called orcs. So, but they could be the same thing. So they take him down. They're singing a song, and they take the party in front of the Goblin King. So the Goblin King, he sees all these people, all these treasures. He's like, "What are you guys doing here? What are you sneaking in my front door for?" And it's like, "I think you guys are friends of elves." And Thorin is like, "No, we're just traveling to see our cousins. My name's Thorin." And the Goblin King knows that name Thorin. He's like, "I know you, and I know your fathers and your grandfathers, and you are coming for mischief." And then they see the sword, Orcrist, and they pull it out there. Oh! I think they called it Biter. All right, and, I know that sword, because it's killed hundreds of goblins, and they start freaking out, and they're like, "We're gonna lock these dwarves in a deep hole with snakes," and sounds terrible. That is when suddenly all of the lights go out. The huge fire in the middle goes out, and only one light is showing. There's a flash of a sword that goes into the Goblin King. He dies, and all the goblins start freaking out because they see another sword that they really hate called, I think this one's Beater. One is Biter, one is Beater, and they start freaking out a little bit. And then it's Gandalf, and he's like, "Come on, follow me. The lights are gonna turn on soon. Come on, everyone!" And they start running out of the cave. It's pretty intense. They're on the run. They stop. Gandalf cuts off the chains or the bonds or whatever. Someone carries on Bilbo, and they're running, and they're running, and they're running, and the goblins are getting closer and getting closer and getting closer. And Gandalf says, "Stop!" Thorin, he got Thorin's sword, and Gandalf kill a few dozen goblins. They run away again, and they keep running some more. Now the goblins realize that they shouldn't be using torches, and they shouldn't be in armor. So they put on their really quiet shoes, and they turn off the lights, and they start following the dwarves and Bilbo. And Bilbo's on top of another dwarf. They're on the run, and then finally the goblins surprise them, and they try to capture some of the dwarves. Bilbo falls off and gong, hits his head, and he is out. And that is where the chapter ends. Let's look at some vocabulary. The first one here is infested. Imagine a bunch of terrible things that you don't like living somewhere. So when we think about infested, we think of like infested with snakes, infested with spiders, infested with mice or rats, something like this. Some unpleasant thing is living, a whole bunch of them, inside somewhere, right? You can say, your home is infested with cockroaches, okay? Meaning there's cockroaches living in there somewhere. You might not even be able to see them. But the mountains are infested with terrible things, bad things. Shrill is a sound, a high-pitched sound, and the wind has this sound that's very shrill and high. Uncanny, which is like kind of shocking on how it resembles something. Let me see if I can think of an example. I guess the best way to describe uncanny is like strange or eerie, uncomfortable, mysterious. There's a feeling of familiarity to it, but also strangeness. So it makes you feel uncomfortable. So maybe eerie or strange. Haymaking is, if you know hay, it's growing up in grass, and you got to take that grass and you usually make like a bundle of hay. So you're out there working in the fields, doing some jobs, maybe kind of at the end of summer and things like that. To me, haymaking also sounds a little bit like fun, which that could be completely off. but it's like getting out and doing some work, but maybe even having some fun while you're doing it. Guffawing is like a laugh. Okay, this kind of big, out there kind of laugh. Prosperous is wealthy, successful. Grudge is like this hate or anger that you keep for a long time. Maybe your friend in first grade pulled your hair or spilt some milk on you, and you remember it even though you're in high school. Okay, that's a grudge. You keep remembering something for a long time in a bad way. And the last one we have here is hospitable, which is friendly. I think we talked about this word with Rivendell. Rivendell is very hospitable. It's very welcoming, homely. You can come in and we'll take care of you. And I think the cave maybe was very hospitable. Certainly the goblins are not hospitable. That leaves us with our discussion question. If you were the Goblin King and you had these dwarves coming in outside your home, okay, maybe there's some enemies, maybe they're not, maybe they're traitors, but anyways, if you were this Goblin King, how would you handle the dwarves? And of course, please make your own discussion question. That is all the time that we have for today. But thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.